All right. So tonight we have the world famous Ron Wallach as he presents the Hank Wallach's 70th Beard and Mustache Contest. That'll be benefiting the Syracuse Polish Home April 8th in Syracuse, New York. And yeah, we're going to find out what all this contest is about tonight. What's up, the two Rons?
Hey.
How are y'all doing?
Good.
Your hair looks great tonight. We just wanted to let you know.
You're talking to him. Oh, my hair. Well,
I was going to say, we can't see the tops of your head.
What happened to your bandana?
Well, it just, I could wear it, but it just wasn't falling on my big head correctly. See,
you don't have to.
Now I just look like I'm wearing half a helmet.
Basically, yeah. It looked better. There you go. That looks way better. Way better.
I think somebody was wearing my bandana. Now it's molded to somebody else's head.
Wow.
Who would that be?
I don't know.
Scott.
I'm sorry. I should have washed it and pressed it before I gave it back.
You should have with your big head.
I did see a trail of what's that stingray juice on the floor there? Jellyfish was running through our office.
I had never heard that before, and the jellyfishes are a big problem here in Florida.
Yeah, just pee on them. That's it.
There's a lot of pests in Florida I'd like to pee on and see if it works.
I want to say that it was an episode of Baywatch that I saw, and this is years and years ago, where someone got stung by a jellyfish, and that's what they talked about. It was either Baywatch or some other dumb movie, and they were talking about it, and I was like, huh. And I looked it up, and
Baywatch was on television for about 10 years, so they must have known what they were doing, saving lives on the beach.
Must have.
That's the best place to get your news and information is from Baywatch, really.
Well, people can't breathe underwater, Aaron.
Well, maybe they can. Speaking of breathing underwater, Scott Sykora,
it's the ammonia that neutralizes the sting, Aaron.
Of course. Everybody knows that. Speaking of ammonia and stings, there's a beard contest happening April 8th in Syracuse, New York.
Are you serious, Clark?
That was beautiful. That was probably the best one I've ever done.
It was.
My gosh, that was so good. I'm proud of me, really. So Ron, tell us all about Hank Wallach and how this whole thing got started up there in Syracuse. Let's just, as Scott would say, let's go back to the beginning.
We want to hear the origin story of where this all comes from.
Well, in 1953, my grandfather was an all-star athlete in Syracuse, New York. He was part of a lot of stuff. Wasn't he in the original Orange Bowl or Citrus Bowl?
Yes.
Syracuse got to play Miami in the Citrus Bowl, and I believe the Syracuse won, right? Miami doesn't get to win a lot of football games in the history of Miami.
They just get hurricanes.
That's stupid.
That was a good one.
That was good. That was really good.
Roll Tide.
But he sponsored a lot of athletes and sports teams through his cafe, the Hank's Cafe in downtown Syracuse. And one of the things he did was a mustache growing contest in 1953 that got so famous it made the newspaper in the Syracuse Post-Standard. So the anniversary of that is here on April 8th, 2023 is the 70th anniversary of this historic contest. Now, part of the deal back then was you grew a mustache during Lent, and then if you shaved it off and you were a good member and paid your dues every week, you got a clam bake the following Saturday. So that's why we're holding it on April 8th. This has to do with that in the Polish tradition and of growing badass mustaches for a month. Yeah.
Clam bake. Isn't that not out of season?
Well, they waited until the season was there, but they had the free clam bake. It wasn't in April, no.
Oh, okay. Because I'm like, clams are not usually a springtime delicacy.
No. So what they got like a coupon to come back for the clam bake?
Yeah, what he did was my father had a bar, a restaurant, or a cafe, and it was called the Sportsman's Cafe, and that's where the contest came out of. And on the side of the building was a huge parking lot, and that's where you would have the clam bake there. So it would be in the summertime.
There's actually a picture of it in the press kit on mustacheparlor.com. If
There
you
you
want to take a look at it, I emailed it to you a little earlier.
Is
Of
it
this
one of
clam
these
bake right
pictures?
there on the right hand
Bottom right?
right hand side. That big
There it
bucket.
is. Sportsman Cafe.
Somehow they got a big bucket of clams in April.
Wow, that's impressive.
But that's the type of man my grandfather was. He was always out doing cool shit, just like me. And he found a way to get a bucket of clams for all the people who were good mustache growers in April.
Man, we could not in Cleveland get clams in Cleveland till September. No matter how hard we try.
Well, those were probably the same clams. They got them in September, but then they just like hung out until April and then they cooked them.
Well,
everybody knows clams stay on they don't go bad.
According to that article, there was also acid rain from Las Vegas that visited Syracuse that week. Perhaps that had to do with shocking the clams out of their beds and into the pot.
I have a question.
Mm-hmm.
What happened to acid rain? Did it just go away?
I think we stopped testing nuclear weapons. Maybe that's why.
Oh, okay. That was good thinking.
That happened a lot in the 50s too.
Yeah.
That's a good question. I would imagine it would still be there.
They don't talk about it anymore. It doesn't exist.
With all the climate change going on right now, I mean, you would think acid rain would be like top of the list, but it's not even on the list, I don't think, anymore.
Nope.
Maybe it's what melted the snow. We were trying to get things organized today. Unfortunately, Syracuse got hit with a giant blizzard, record-setting from what people are telling me. They closed schools down throughout the state.
See, I keep forgetting that you're in Florida, not Syracuse. So
yeah, he's in Florida.
Shut up, Aaron. That's what I just said.
New York. Come on, Scott. Even Alan D. Eckert knows this. Coal scrubbers.
Coal scrub. What is that?
Exactly, Scott. Exactly.
I mean, I know it's like the steel belt area, and like
it's the same thing. It all goes back to the things you pee on in the ocean. Coal scrubbers. That's what Alan calls them.
Trying to test out all the different links because it seems like we're having some issues with the online stuff right now.
It does seem like it. So here it is. Andrew answered it. Acid rain disappeared April 21st, 2016 with the Purple Rain and Prince.
I remember that Super Bowl when it happened.
That's it.
And it also happened in Miami.
That was it. That was the last acid rain.
And
Prince destroyed acid rain.
He did not stop playing either. He played the entire concert without
with acid rain
on the stage
the whole time. Acid rain everywhere. And then after that, it just gave up and it left.
I had an opportunity to see his last concert. I didn't know it was going to be his last concert, so I went to bed instead. I really regret that. I was working in Atlanta at the time, and I knew something was going on because all of a sudden I was working at the Fox Theater. All of a sudden, Prince got added to the schedule like a week or two before that, and he passed away like a couple of days after. So and the whole show was just him on the piano, very like what do they say, what's the word I'm looking for, very very personal experience from the audience.
Yeah, it was definitely one that passed away too soon for sure.
So which now back to our cause.
Yeah.
So we found out that this was the 70th anniversary. So I had through our friend Christine Hackman and contacted our buddy Aaron here and said about this idea and that the Syracuse Polish Home needed a roof. So the Syracuse Polish Home is a cultural center for immigrants that came to Syracuse in the turn of the century. It still exists and is open to membership to anybody. And they've got a historic 100-year-old building, which is a badass place to put on a beard and mustache contest. So the people who compete, who come to the contest, will be in a banquet hall. And during the awards ceremony, we're going to have a banquet that's going to be a Polish buffet. And there's a secret bar downstairs for Polish members. And there's also going to be a competitor's lounge, real classy 1950s motif everywhere, cool trophies from that era, I would say the Polish Home was a very sports athletic organization. And so during the pandemic, they have one of the very few Brunswick bowling lanes left in existence. And during the pandemic, it wasn't being used. So now it needs some repairs along with the roof and some other building repairs. So that is our cause for that we selected the cause for the charity. And it's also going to host the event on April 8th in 2023.
But the cool thing is you mentioned the banquet, and that's a extra fee. So if you want to just do the beard competition part, you don't have to do the banquet part. You can just hang out with the beard competition people, and you don't get to eat though. So
right.
But if you do compete, you get a discount on the dinner, correct?
Yeah. So there's several ways to participate. There's the original mustache growing contest. All the people you know in upstate New York who don't have a mustache, you think you can grow one, that you got 4 weeks, which is possible. It takes about 2 weeks to grow a good mustache. We want to see what turns up, and you can get a trophy for that. Or there's the traditional beard and mustache contest. You come and you pay $20 entry fee. Registration opens at 12 on that day. You can also register online at mustacheparlor.com/Syracuse, or just go to mustacheparlor.com. And if you don't want to participate in the beard and mustache contest and you would still want to support our cause, you can join the banquet, which you can also get as a discounted price if you're in the contest. Cool. The banquet starts at 5 and food will be served at 6 p.m. And then about that time, the judges will have everything totaled, and we're going to have an awards ceremony live on the stage at 7 p.m. And afterwards, we have to hang out in the secret Polish bar and celebrate with all of our cool bearded friends with all their trophies.
Go ahead, Scott.
What is on the menu? Do you know that?
That part, I let the chef decide. They have an executive chef.
Man.
I believe lasagna, and there must be kielbasa. There'll be vegetarian options.
Lasagna is not Polish?
Yes. It is when a Polish man makes it, though.
Oh, man.
I can't promise that.
Pierogies in there, like a pierogi lasagna?
Yeah.
Pierogi lasagna. I like
pierogi
this.
with lasagna filling. Isn't that a ravioli in a way?
Kind of. Not if you leave the pierogi guts in there too and you just add to it, then it's just a super pierogi.
Well, that's what one time I was making the Mrs. T pierogies, and usually my family would always get together, and my grandmothers and all my aunts would make 10,000 like handmade pierogies with the cheddar potato insides, and we would have a big feast. And so pierogies are like a real mainstay in our family and everything. And one night I had a hankering for pierogies, but as I started making them up, I didn't have onions. I didn't have sour cream. I didn't have all the accoutrements that go with presenting myself a wonderful dish of pierogies. So I was like, wonder if I put a little bit of tomato sauce on this. Like, it is kind of like a ravioli in a way. And I was surprised. It was pretty good.
Huh. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
So it was just spaghetti sauce with some potato inside?
Well, I mean, it had spaghetti sauce on top of the pierogi. So it was like eating giant size ravioli.
An Italian pierogi. That's pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah. I like this.
So as Alan says, a pierogi tacos. We need to come up with that whole idea. I'm sure we could get that going here.
That is something that should have been invented a long time ago. I would love to put pierogies and tacos together.
Have you done this?
No, but it needs to be done right away. It may be close to an empanada, but we're not going to fry it. We'll put our Polish spin on it and just put a lot of butter and onions.
And sausage. You can put Polish sausages in it.
With some hot sauce.
We got Jerry here. We haven't seen Jerry, and he like disappeared off the planet years ago.
Jerry won Best in Show in Alaska on the March 3rd or 4th or whatever it was up there. That was pretty cool.
Wow,
Jerry, are you coming to Syracuse on the April 8th? You should definitely do that.
Not many people can say they won the 70th anniversary of a contest. That's a pretty legit prize.
Yeah, Jerry loves doing stuff like that. He'll probably get into it. So, Go ahead.
I was going to say all the judging is going to take place the usual standards for beard and mustache contests. So whoever wins these trophies will be proud that we just didn't give it to our relatives or something like that.
Speaking of judges, do you want to kind of talk about a few of these judges? I think we have everything for 4 of them.
Yeah, I'm really impressed and proud of the people we attracted to help us judge this competition. That's an important part to me. I want to make sure this is legitimate prize.
Yeah. I think these are a really good judges panel here. Do you want to start it off, or do you want me to do it?
Go for it. Hey, look,
all right. So the first one we wrangled down was this little character here, Bob Baker. He's really taken off in the TikTok world. I think he's got over 1 million followers over there, and
he does really good videos on making candlesticks.
He is a great candlestick maker. He's so good with wax.
Just coming to see this man's mustache is worth the entry fee alone.
I agree. It's a glorious mustache, and Bob will be there, and we'll probably get Bob and Ron Wolek in a conversation. Just see what happens.
Yeah, just to hear what that man's advice would be to have the facial hair prowess that he demonstrates.
Just keep growing and just be loud and proud about it.
If a man with a mustache like that said that, you got a 3, I think that you would take it as a legitimate score. There's no contesting.
No, you're like, all right, Bob, I'll do better. Sorry.
Yeah.
Well, and if you're lucky, you'll probably end up being in one of his TikTok videos, because he's always filming stuff and he's becoming immensely popular on TikTok. Like,
I think Bob is like legitimately on the cusp, but he's gonna like outgrow the beard community, and he's gonna end up in like Hollywood movies. I genuinely think that like something's gonna happen with Bob. He's too talented to not.
People are probably gonna hire me to make mustaches to replicate that
for Bob.
Yeah, actually, there you go. Maybe Bob needs a stunt mustache.
Yeah, you're going to cast his mustache, and you're going to be able to make the Bob mustache and sell it on your website.
Check out these mustaches I just made for the opera. This one,
the Phantom.
One went to a hoolie he. Look at that.
Wow.
I wonder what Bob would say about this mustache if he'd give it a
4.
How he would score it.
4 out of what?
10.
Well, I think it's pretty even.
7.5.
I would consider you would lose points if one side was longer than the other.
Yeah, and that one's
the density is pretty nice.
It's not even growing from the face.
I know.
It also makes a great unibrow.
I thought it was a toupee.
It could make a good merkin too. Don't forget about merkins. Everyone forgets about the merkin.
Oh yeah,
forget about the merkins. Scott, don't start talking about merkins.
Oh, sorry.
We're still on judges.
But the Whiskerinas can come for the realistic mustache category, and I'm sure Bob will be a terrific judge in fake mustaches as well.
Bob loves
the ones that grow on your face.
For sure.
Bob is okay. Elliot,
I'm gonna actually bring a couple of my handmade mustaches and enter it in myself, maybe just to see what he has to say. I'm curious. I want them scored.
All right. Well, our next judge that will also score your mustache also has a pretty good mustache, but he also has a very glorious beard that sometimes he puts balls in it. Matt McClear of Beard Laws. Wow. Look at that. He loves putting all the Christmas ornaments in his beard. It's his favorite time of year, and he waits all year just to decorate his beard for Christmas. He loves Christmas so much. Matt McClear, Beard Laws. He's up there in that part of the country, so he was the first person I reached out to. I was like, hey, you live in New York. How far are you from Syracuse? And I think he said like 2.5, 3 hours. So he's going to come down and be one of the judges.
And I should bring that up too, because I forget to tell people we've organized so you can have a really good hotel deal if you decide to travel to come to Syracuse. I recommend you use the Amtrak if you're in the surrounding cities, because it's pretty cheap. There's a station not too far away. And there's several hotels on mustacheparlor.com/Syracuse in the lodging section that have given us discounted deals around $100 a night, which you can't beat that. Syracuse is usually a city where hotels cost around $230 to $300. And a couple of them have shuttle service from the airport too. And they stay right down in downtown Syracuse, which downtown Syracuse has come back and alive. There's lots of breweries there that are going to be supporting the event that they're promoting the contest. Syracuse is, I feel like, is really excited behind this because it's their contest. This is the 70th anniversary of a tradition that my grandfather started. And can't wait to honor his legacy and raise a good donation to bring back the Syracuse Polish Home Foundation's historic Brunswick Lanes. Because as I said when I came down to open the competition, it's time to reopen the lanes.
That's right.
We must bowl again.
It's time.
And that's what we're going to hopefully do.
And lane persecution. Now, I have a really great idea. Like, if anyone, do you like that? It was a Revenge of the Nerds quote, but I adjusted it to fit this. So if I was a female, I think that I would do a Whiskerina beard out of clamshells for bonus points.
That would get a lot of bonus points.
See, there you go. So if anyone's listening out there, they're looking for one.
The first thing that the board of directors at the Polish Home, because we were wondering, I wonder if they're even going to let us have a beard contest there. And the first thing that they said, can ladies enter too? That's what they wanted to know. They didn't want to know if there was going to be like permits involved, who I was, et cetera, et cetera. They wanted to know if ladies could be in this contest too.
So did they know about Whiskerinas, or were they specifically talking about bearded ladies?
They had no idea about Whiskerinas or bearded ladies. They just, the two women on the board of the directors said, "Oh man, this sounds like such a great contest. We want to enter to someone." And I explained the Whiskerina thing, and they got that sealed the deal, I think.
Well,
that's impressive.
That is pretty cool. I didn't know that at all. Like, we don't care who you are. Can women be in this beard contest?
That's basically how the conversation went.
And they're like, "Who are you? Why are you in my living room?"
Now, I guess we should bring up the next judge is going to be the president emeritus of the Syracuse Polish Home.
Sure, that could be
Mr.
our next one.
Robert Sobolski. And he will be an honorable judge.
And you are related to this guy on some level?
We are cousins in some way.
In some way. I like it.
That's what my uncle says. We did a genealogy test. There seems to be relatives that we are related to.
I like this.
He likes red.
But hey, look at that guy's beard. He's definitely related to me.
Yeah, y'all look just
You said
alike.
that was only a couple months.
He looks like my dad.
You look.
This guy is awesome. I sat down and talked to him about Polish history. He's an expert in the community and the history of Poland in regards to Syracuse, why there is a Polish home. He spent several years teaching in Poland.
And he's going to be
cool
there.
Dude to hang out with.
Live
the judges are going to have so much fun hanging next to him.
Way to go, Matt. He asked him some good questions.
Yeah, Matt. All right, so we've got one more judge that we can officially announce, and then we've got another judge that's like 95% committed. But I don't have a picture of them. But we got one more that we do have a picture-y thing for, and this is going to connect back to you, Ron Wolek. This is Ray Norcross. He has a podcast called Bearding Without Borders on Thursday night.
Never heard
and,
of it.
I think you're going to be on his show coming up, right?
Yes, at 7 p.m. on Thursday.
And that's this Thursday.
That is an epic handlebar. It's right there.
Boy, you better tell
Imagery
him
is awesome.
You make sure that you tell Ray that
I would put that mustache in an opera.
Oh, geez.
It belongs on stage.
You belong on stage, Ray Norcross.
Ray Norcross, you belong on the stage. Do an opera.
So what should he tell Ray Norcross?
Well, I was just, I was going to make a joke about how handsome the hosts from Talking Beards are compared to him.
Yeah, you should definitely bring that up, Ron, a couple times.
Yeah.
Like, I was on this other show Tuesday, and those guys were way more handsome looking than you. There's just something about those two guys on Tuesday. I don't know. You just need to make sure that Ray knows that we're the more handsome.
Yeah, and they like talking about pierogies and jellyfish and just all sorts of great things.
I was pretty envious. Aaron came to mustacheparlor.com today, and a couple times I was like, man, the mustache alone is epic. If only I had those genetics. You have any Polish genetics?
Me?
Yeah.
I have no idea.
He's from Kentucky.
I'm from Kentucky. We got Polish people in Kentucky? I don't know. Born and raised Western Kentucky. That's us, my ancestors.
He was born in the back of a NASCAR that was hauling some illegal liquors across the county line.
And then I was
we did that in Poland too.
It's got in upstairs in my father's bar. It originated with my grandmother. She made gin up there. Bootleg gin.
Yeah.
So there could be Polish down in Kentucky.
And we talked about that with Rob, the historian, and we looked it up. So the code back then was a juice bar. So if you sold juice in Prohibition, you probably were selling bathtub gin.
Gin and juice. There it is.
A song.
You're out there just sipping on it. Probably cruise around in a 6'4" Impala.
I think so, because if you're in the Prohibition era, it's also the Depression, and you're dirt poor. Why would you spend your hard money on juice?
Yeah,
because it's healthy.
Yeah, gin. Gin's way more healthy. It tastes like pine needles.
Tastes like a bathtub, you idiot.
Oh yeah, a bathtub.
Yeah, but it made you forget about how poor you were,
or that you were drinking
the bathtub juice.
Bathtub juice. Bathtub juice. So mustacheparlor.com. You can go over there, like Ron said, and there's a link right there that says beard contest, or you can go to mustacheparlor.com/Syracuse. Is that what the direct link was?
That will take you directly there. That's the information page, and then there's several different ways to be a part. If you do want to just participate in the banquet alone and not compete, you actually get to pick your table seating, and so that's why there's a different outlet for that. Also, to enter into the beard contest, we take all your registration questions too. That's the article from 1953 down there on the bottom about the original contest. This is the 70th anniversary for. Hank Wolek there is in the middle with all of his buddies.
Look at him.
Look at all those mustache guys.
Look at all those buddies. They all have mustaches.
And if you go to the Hank Wolek website, part of that, and under the About section, you go to the Hank's Mustache Club, you can read the entire article all about the acid rain, the youths with razors.
Utes.
1953 was a scary time in Syracuse, New York.
And there it is.
And this is the contest page.
And you don't have to pre-register. If you want to still come to the event, we will do day of registration, but you could also pre-register online. But there's the registration information. There's the banquet information to buy your tickets. And then the next one over is the lodging information. So that shows, and these are all relatively close to the venue, I would assume, Ron?
Yeah. Within a 5-minute drive. You could actually walk if you really wanted to.
But it's probably going to be cold since there's a foot of snow on the ground now.
And parking's a little bit limited. So if you do plan on attending, please take an Uber or carpool.
There you go.
I'd take the train already.
Yeah. We're expecting a pretty big turnout. So just walk up and win the prize.
There you go. Speaking of prizes, do we want to hint at what the first place trophies may look like? Or should we wait?
I think it's a good, enticing thing. I mean, it's
going to be pretty good.
So we have the basis for first place. If you want to show them off.
Well, what should we do? I mean, it's a pretty big
think we should
surprise
do it.
to put up the back.
You should because it's not the finished product, so that's going to be the fun part about it. But you can at least tell the story of what it is, and like, wow, this is
where did these come from?
I know we're not even really sure if we can say where they actually came from. But
they came from
They came from something that was in the Caribbean at one
They
time.
were straight from the Caribbean, and probably pirates were involved.
Billy Ocean
could have
has
been.
nothing to do with these.
But wouldn't it? That's the best part is when you walk out of there with this trophy, you can use it for a shield to protect yourself from all your envious friends.
It's
and
real
the acid
wood.
rain.
It's, you know,
There
it's
you go.
out of a barrel, and it used to be a part of something else, but now it's going to be a super cool trophy. So
Yeah.
Come get these first place trophies. They are going to be substantial.
Yeah. So if you live in the Northeast, this is an easy trip for you to get to. Syracuse is a very inexpensive airport to fly in and out of with the budget airlines. Frontier flies there, has a lot of flights going in out of the Syracuse Hancock Airport. Also Spirit Airlines and Allegiant, as well as the big brands. And like I said, the convenient way to get there from New York City, it's a 6-hour train ride on Amtrak. It puts you right in the middle of Syracuse. It's easy to get to because that's the home of the state fair for upstate New York. Nice. And you can get there from Buffalo. You can drive there from Buffalo and Rochester, and you can come as far as Boston or Detroit and Chicago on the Amtrak ride. I did take the Amtrak from Syracuse to Detroit. It was a pretty cool deal. I had the transfer, I believe, in Toledo. That's an awesome retro station. If you like train stations, it still had the same couch from like the 50s. It looked like something that Marilyn Monroe was in the Bus Stop movie.
And it was probably very dilapidated at this point in time.
Did you hear that, Dan C. Bearded? He was talking about coming from Detroit. That's your neck of the woods.
Dan C. Bearded, there's a train that goes from Detroit to Syracuse. And
you want to look for the North Shore Limited Amtrak train.
There you go, Dan C.
Probably get a ticket for $20 or $30. And I've been on that train. The chairs are huge, much bigger than an airplane seat. Kind of like a lazy boy type of a thing. You could sleep really well into it, or they do have sleeper cars on this train too.
This is good. That's better than.
So you can come to this beard contest just like you lived in Europe. You can put on your best bearded suit, put all your beard brushes and your Amish products, in a little Amish bag.
There you go.
Get it in a knapsack together. Come travel on the train after the contest. Go back on the train. A nice, good hangover from the Polish home bar.
There you go. All right. Well, you're so full of all the information, Ron. We always appreciate you coming on the show. And yeah, man, everybody go to mustacheparlor.com and go check it out. Go ahead, Rod.
And one more thing, we have an administrator for the contest. His name is Harrison. He will be working at mustacheparlor.com Tuesday through Saturday. From 3 to 7 p.m. So if you want to call us, you got a question, is my beard going to qualify? You know, what if I don't have a beard? What if I want to don't want to sit next to somebody at this beard contest? We can organize it all. The number is 407-479-0012. And if you call in the afternoon, Harrison, the administrator of the contest, will pick up. Make sure you got your T-shirt. Anything that you're missing, it's his job to make sure you get it.
There you go. Call and yell at Harrison.
Go Harrison.
Yeah.
Gosh darn it.
And we have certificates and prizes that we're going to make him shipped out to people.
There you go.
And we can't wait to hear what people say when they receive them. Because mustacheparlor.com, I've had barely any sleep handling any of this stuff. But so I do want to thank all the people who have supported mustacheparlor.com in the contest, because I'm putting it right back into the business and giving somebody a really cool job that you can talk to people about beards and mustaches all day.
All right, Ron. Well, thank you for that.
And thank you, Aaron.
Yeah.
And
yeah, everybody check out mustacheparlor.com and come to Syracuse, New York on April 8th to the Polish home.